Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into a book that I think could be a total game changer for your finances.
Oh, yeah.
It's Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins.
I've heard of that one.
And trust me, this is not your typical boring financial textbook.
Okay, good, because I was worried about that.
Robbins actually went out and interviewed some of the biggest names in finance.
Really?
Yeah, like Warren Buffett,
Wow.
Ray Dalio, you name it.
Okay, so the real heavy hitters.
And then he distilled all of their wisdom into these 7 actionable steps.
So it's kind of like a cheat sheet.
Exactly. Consider this deep dive your cheat sheet to financial freedom.
Love it. So, what was the whole point of writing this book? What was he trying to do?
Well, it's actually pretty interesting. Robbins wrote this book right after the 2008 financial crisis. You can imagine people were feeling super lost and shaken.
Oh, absolutely.
About their money.
Yeah.
So his goal was to kind of demystify finance.
Okay.
And empower everyday people to take control of their financial futures.
Okay, so instead of, being afraid of money and finance.
Right. And instead of just throwing around all this jargon,
right,
he breaks down these complex concepts, into easy to understand steps. And get this, the steps are actually based on the strategies of the ultra wealthy.
So you're saying we can learn to invest like the super rich.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Are you ready to learn the secrets of the financial elite?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, step 1. This is a big one.
Okay.
It's about making a fundamental shift in your mindset.
Ooh, I like mindset shifts.
Robbins calls it going from a consumer to an investor.
Okay.
It sounds pretty basic, right?
Yeah.
But trust me, it's a total game changer.
So it's not just about spending less or budgeting or whatever. It's
Yeah.
about really changing how you think about money.
Exactly. It's like your whole relationship with money changes.
I see.
Think of it this way. As a consumer, you're constantly thinking, can I afford this?
Okay.
But as an investor, you're asking, how can my money work for me?
Right.
So I can afford this and more later.
It's about making your money work as hard as you do.
I love that.
Yeah.
So instead of just seeing money as something that disappears as soon as you get it,
Just vanishes.
you're seeing it as a tool to build wealth.
Okay. So we got to think like investors.
We got to think like investors, but let's be real. Thinking like an investor is great. But how do you actually get started?
Yeah, especially if you don't have, a ton of cash to throw around.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin?
Well, that's where step 2 comes in.
Okay.
Building your security bucket.
Security bucket.
Think of this as your financial fortress.
Okay.
A safety net of low-risk investments designed to protect you against unexpected financial storms. So, if I suddenly lose my job or the stock market takes a nosedive, I've got a cushion to fall back on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Robbins wants you to feel secure enough to navigate life's ups and downs
Okay.
without panicking about money.
I like that.
Yeah, he actually recommends having 3 to 6 months
Whoa.
of living expenses stashed away.
3 to 6 months, that sounds like a lot.
It is.
Especially if you're just starting out. How do you suggest people actually build up that kind of savings?
Well, Robbins really stresses the importance of having multiple income streams.
Multiple income streams, so you're not just relying on that one paycheck.
Right. And this doesn't mean you need to become a serial entrepreneur overnight or anything. It could be as simple as picking up a side hustle, freelancing a few hours a week, or even renting out a spare room if you have one.
So it's about diversifying your income just like you would diversify your investments.
Exactly. You got it.
I never thought about that way, but it makes total sense.
Yeah. And having that extra income can really help, accelerate building that security bucket.
It definitely helps.
Yeah. And then once you've got that solid foundation in place,
Okay.
you can start thinking about investing like the wealthy. Which brings us to step 3.
Okay, let's talk about the big leagues.
Right.
When I hear investing like the wealthy, I picture those old money families with trust funds and private jets.
Right.
Is this something us regular folks can actually do?
Absolutely.
Really?
Remember Robbins actually interviewed those folks and he's sharing their secrets with us?
Oh, that's right.
And the key takeaway here is that the wealthy, they tend to play the long game.
Okay.
They're not looking for quick wins or overnight riches. They're focused on building wealth gradually and strategically over time.
So it's like the tortoise and the hare, but with money.
Exactly. Slow and steady wins the race.
I like that.
And one of the most important strategies Robbins highlights is diversification and asset allocation.
Okay, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm still a little fuzzy on what it actually means.
Yeah, it can be kind of confusing.
Can you break it down for us?
Sure. Think about it like building a house.
Okay.
You wouldn't build a house on just like one pillar, right? You'd want multiple strong pillars to support the whole structure.
That makes sense.
So with investing, those pillars are different asset classes.
Asset classes?
So like stocks, those are kind of like the growth potential of your portfolio.
Okay.
Offering higher returns, but also carrying more risk.
Yeah. Higher risk, higher reward.
Exactly. Then you got bonds. Those are kind of your steady foundation, providing more stability, but lower returns.
Yeah, okay.
And then you got real estate.
Oh, yeah.
A tangible asset that can appreciate in value and also generate rental income.
Okay, that makes much more sense. So diversification is like having different types of pillars in your financial portfolio.
Exactly.
To balance out the risk and reward.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay. But how do you know how much to put in each asset class? Is there like a magic formula?
That's where asset allocation comes in.
Asset allocation.
It's about figuring out the right mix of stocks, bonds, and other assets.
Okay.
Based on your individual goals, your risk tolerance, and your time horizon.
So someone who's younger and has more time to recover from losses might have a higher allocation to stocks.
Right.
While someone who's closer to retirement might lean more towards bonds.
Exactly. You're getting it.
It's all about finding the right balance for your unique situation.
It is.
I'm starting to see why so many people swear by this book. It's like demystifying the world of investing and making it accessible to everyone.
That's exactly what Robbins set out to do.
Now, before we move on to step 4,
Okay.
I want to touch on something that Robbins emphasizes throughout the book.
Okay.
The importance of minimizing fees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to long-term investing.
Right. Because those fees can really eat into your returns over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not paying attention.
That's why Robbins is such a big fan of low-cost index funds.
Index funds.
Yeah, those are the funds that basically track the performance of the entire market, right?
Right.
So you're not paying someone to like pick individual stocks for you.
Exactly. And because they're passively managed, they tend to have much lower fees than like actively managed funds.
Okay, so more money stays in your pocket.
More money in your pocket over the long run.
I am all about that.
Yes.
Okay, so we've covered the mental shift from consumer to investor, building that solid financial foundation with a security bucket,
Right.
diversifying our investments like the pros.
Yeah.
But something tells me there's more to this investing game than just, picking the right assets and minimizing fees.
Right.
What's like the secret sauce that really makes those investments grow?
That brings us to step 4, the magic of compounding.
Okay, spill the beans. What's so magical about compounding?
So imagine a snowball rolling down a hill.
Okay.
As it rolls, it picks up more snow, getting bigger and bigger. That's essentially how compounding works with your investments.
Okay.
Your initial investment earns interest, and then that interest earns interest.
Whoa.
And so on energy, it creates this snowball effect where your money grows exponentially over time.
So it's not just about earning a steady return.
Right.
It's about that return generating even more returns.
Exactly. It's like a money-making machine that keeps feeding itself.
I like it.
Yeah. And the longer you let it run, the more powerful it becomes.
Okay, so this is why we need to be thinking long-term.
Yes. That's why Robbins is such a big advocate of starting to invest early.
Okay.
Even if it's with small amounts.
So it's not about like, trying to time the market or pick the next hot stock.
Exactly.
It's about playing the long game and letting time work its magic.
You got it.
Okay, I'm sold on the magic of compounding.
Good.
But isn't there a catch?
What do you mean?
Doesn't this mean we have to be like super patient and wait decades to see any real results?
That patience is definitely key with compounding.
Okay.
But remember, even if you can't invest large sums right now, the important thing is to start early and be consistent. Those small, regular contributions can add up to a significant amount over time thanks to the power of compounding.
I see.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, what happens when we reach the point where we're ready to stop working and enjoy the fruits of our labor?
That brings us to step 5, and that's where we'll pick up next time on The Deep Dive.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're continuing our exploration of Tony Robbins' money, Master the Game.
Yeah.
Last time, we kind of left off on the edge of retirement.
Oh, yeah.
That magical time when we can finally, kick back
Right.
and enjoy the fruits of our financial labor.
Exactly. And step 5, tackles that head on.
Okay.
It's all about creating a lifetime income plan.
Okay.
Something that makes sure that your money lasts longer than your career.
That's important.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be, clipping coupons and eating ramen in their golden years.
Absolutely not.
So how does Money Master the Game approach this whole retirement planning thing?
Well, he starts by acknowledging that, like, the traditional retirement plan, working for 40 years, saving diligently, and then living off your savings, isn't really cutting it anymore.
Yeah, especially with people living longer, healthcare costs rising.
Right.
Who knows what the economy is going to do.
Exactly. So what's the alternative?
Well, Robbins emphasizes the need for a more proactive and flexible approach.
I like that.
He dives into tools like annuities, which can provide a guaranteed income stream for life.
Okay, so no matter how long I live?
Right.
Or like what the markets do?
Exactly.
I don't have to worry about outliving my savings.
You got it. It's like an insurance policy for your retirement.
Tell me more about how these things work.
Sure. So basically you pay a lump sum.
Okay.
Or make regular contributions. And in return, the insurance company guarantees you a fixed monthly payment.
Okay.
For the rest of your life.
That sounds like peace of mind right there.
It is.
Especially for someone who's like maybe not super comfortable managing their own investments in retirement.
Exactly. Takes the guesswork out of things.
Okay.
Provides that predictable income stream that you can rely on.
But what about inflation? We talked earlier about how like $1 today won't buy as much tomorrow.
Right.
Won't that like erode the value of my annuity payments over time?
That's a valid concern. And Robbins addresses that directly.
Okay.
He recommends looking for annuities that offer inflation protection.
Okay.
Meaning your payments will increase over time to keep pace with the rising cost of living.
So they adjust.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So annuities provide a steady income stream. But what about those of us who still want some control over our investments in retirement?
Sure.
Does Robbins have any suggestions for that?
He does. He also talks about fixed income streams.
Okay.
Like bonds, which offer a more predictable return than stocks.
Okay.
And can provide a steady source of income in retirement.
Right, because even in retirement, you still want some of your money working for you, right?
Exactly. And Robbins also encourages retirees to consider diversifying their income streams.
Okay.
Beyond just investments.
Like how?
This could be things like renting out a property.
Okay.
Starting a small business. Or even turning a hobby into a source of income.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's about having those multiple streams of income in retirement. Just like we talked about earlier when building that, financial foundation.
Exactly.
I like how Robbins keeps tying these concepts together.
It's all part of his holistic approach to financial well-being.
Right.
And it leads beautifully into step 6, which is one of the most unique and valuable aspects of money. Master the game.
Okay, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
This is where Robbins shares all the wisdom he got from interviewing those financial giants.
That's right. The Warren Buffetts.
Right.
The Ray Dalios of the world.
It's like getting a masterclass in finance from the people who have actually mastered the game.
Exactly. He picks their brains.
Yeah.
Gets their insights on everything.
Okay.
From investment strategies to risk management to building a legacy.
So it's not just Robbins' opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a collection of wisdom from some of the brightest minds in finance.
Exactly.
I can't wait to hear what they had to say.
Well, each interview is a goldmine of information.
I bet.
But one piece of advice that really resonated with me came from John Bogle.
John Bogle.
The founder of Vanguard and the creator of index funds.
Oh, yeah. Bogle's like a legend in the investing world.
He is.
I remember him. He was a huge proponent of low-cost investing.
Yes, he was. And in his conversation with Robbins, he emphasized the importance of keeping it simple.
Okay.
He argued that most investors, they overcomplicate things.
Okay.
Trying to time the market or pick individual stocks.
Right.
When in reality, a simple diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds is often the best approach.
Interesting. So instead of trying to like outsmart the market,
right,
Bogle suggests that we just kind of go with the flow and let the market do its thing.
That's the idea. But it doesn't mean that you're being passive.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about diversification being like building a house on multiple pillars?
Yes.
Well, with index funds, you're essentially buying a piece of the entire stock market.
Okay.
So your investments are diversified across hundreds or even thousands of companies.
So I'm not betting on any one company to succeed.
Right.
I'm betting on the overall growth of the economy.
Exactly. And Historically, the stock market has trended upwards over the long term.
Right.
Even with all the ups and downs along the way.
So by investing in a broad market index fund, I'm basically hitching my wagon to that long-term growth trend.
You got it.
I like it.
And here's the best part. Index funds are passively managed.
Okay.
Meaning there's no team of expensive analysts trying to pick stocks.
Right.
That translates to lower fees, which means more money stays in your pocket.
It's amazing how sometimes, like, the simplest approach can be the most effective.
It really can be.
And it's something that anyone can do regardless of their income or investing experience.
Exactly. That's what makes Bogle's advice so powerful.
Right.
It's about democratizing investing and making it accessible to everyone.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Oh, yeah.
Robbins brings in these, like, financial heavyweights.
Yeah.
And their advice seems to consistently point towards long-term, diversified, low-cost investing.
It's like they're all singing from the same hymn sheet.
They are.
And it reinforces that core message of money. Master the game. Financial freedom is not about luck or privilege.
Okay.
It's about making smart choices, being patient, and letting time and compounding work their magic.
It's a message that's like both empowering and reassuring.
It is.
Especially for those of us who might have felt kind of intimidated by the world of investing.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final step in Robbins' plan, step 7.
Okay.
Which is all about leaving a legacy.
Ooh, I like that.
We'll dive into that thought-provoking topic when we return for the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of Tony Robbins' money, master the game, and I gotta say, I'm really excited about this final step.
Oh yeah, which one is that?
It's about leaving a legacy.
Leaving a legacy.
Yeah, it's not something you usually hear like in a book about personal finance.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a whole other level.
Right. It's like, okay, you've mastered the money game. Now what are you going to do with it?
Right. Use it for good.
Exactly. It's about taking that financial success and using it to make a real impact on the world.
I like that a lot.
But before we dive into all that, I think it's important to acknowledge that, even a book as comprehensive as this one might not resonate with everyone.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, while Robbins' 7 steps offer a great framework for achieving financial freedom, there are some aspects of his approach that might spark a little debate.
Oh, I see.
For instance, some people argue that his focus on high net worth individuals might not be entirely relatable for everyone.
Yeah, I can see that not everyone has access to like those exclusive investments that billionaires do.
And while diversification is generally a sound principle, some critics suggest that Robbins might overemphasize it.
Okay, how so?
Well, they worry that readers might spread their investments too thin. So instead of focusing on a few key investments that they understand well, they end up with a portfolio that's just way too complex.
Yeah, too many moving parts.
You manage effectively.
And while we both seem to love the idea of low-cost index funds, they're not the only answer for every investor.
Right. Some people might prefer a more hands-on approach where there's, actively researching and picking individual stocks.
Exactly. It really depends on your, risk tolerance and your goals.
Your comfort level.
Exactly.
And while we applaud Robbins for encouraging multiple streams of income, it's crucial to find a balance.
Yeah, because some people might end up just stretched way too thin.
Yeah.
If they're chasing every single side hustle opportunity that comes their way.
Quality over quantity.
Right. It's better to have a few solid sources of income that you can depend on than to be juggling like a dozen different gigs that add more stress than money.
Totally agree. And while we're all for Robbins' inspiring message of leaving a legacy, it's worth remembering that philanthropy can be complex.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just writing a check.
Right.
To some random charity.
It's important to do your research.
Absolutely.
And make sure your donations are actually making a positive difference.
Choose causes you're passionate about. Research the organizations you're supporting, and even consider volunteering your time and skills.
I love that. So it's really about being thoughtful and strategic with your giving.
Exactly.
These are all excellent points, and I think it just reinforces the idea that even the best advice should be taken with a grain of salt.
You always want to do your own research.
Consult with a financial advisor before making any major financial decisions.
Absolutely. But now to wrap things up on a more inspiring note, let's actually dive into this whole leaving a legacy concept.
Okay, let's do it.
What resonated with you the most about Robbins' approach to giving back?
I love how he emphasizes that it's not just about donating money.
Okay.
It's about aligning your financial goals with your values.
Right.
It's about finding those causes that really light you up and figuring out how you can use your resources to make a difference.
I couldn't agree more. It's about taking that financial freedom you've worked so hard to achieve and using it as a force for good.
And it doesn't have to be about, grand gestures or starting a massive foundation or anything.
Exactly. It can be as simple as like volunteering at a local soup kitchen.
Yeah.
Mentoring a young entrepreneur, supporting a cause that you believe in.
Every act of generosity, big or small, creates a ripple effect.
It does.
And when we collectively choose to use our resources to make the world a better place, I think incredible things can happen.
I agree with you there.
So as we conclude this deep dive into money, master the game, I'm left with a sense of hope and possibility. Financial freedom isn't just about accumulating wealth.
Right.
It's about using that wealth to create a life of purpose and meaning.
Beautifully said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into money. Master the game.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and a renewed sense of empowerment when it comes to your financial future.
Absolutely.
Remember, it's not about luck or privilege.
It's about making smart choices and taking control.
Taking control of your financial destiny.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those financial goals in sight.
We're here to support you every step of the way.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a thought-provoking book.
Yes, we will.
So stay tuned. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep mastering your own financial game.